And remember skee ball? And you get those tickets, and those tickets are like crack, and you buy like a spider ring, and you just cut those kids in line to get your flippin' spider ring for 800 tickets. And then you're like, I want the clock radio. And they're like, that's 9,027 tickets. You're like, Mom, can we stay 3 more hours so I can win the clock radio? Remember when you were little? I mean, that was like Vegas for little kids.
And then this is my fault for having you on my podcast.
It's your fault for having me in the first place.
Well, I can't help it.
What?
This is not a good idea.
No, it is not.
We are in trouble.
Hey everybody, it's me, Kerri Pomarolli, and my co-host,
Lucy McGee.
and welcome to our podcast. Say it.
Welcome to our podcast.
Say the name.
No, wait. This is not a good idea.
We're on episode 15, and she does not remember the name of the podcast. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, my daughter is dressed like a farmer or a member of New Kids on the Block.
I am not.
No, you are, for sure. You are channeling Donnie Wahlberg.
That's not fair.
It is not fair, but you chose to wear that today.
Right.
So I'm just letting the world know what you look like, who people are. So I got some fan comments this week.
Oh, God.
We got some emails. One dude said, it's like listening to Kerri talk to her former self. Which I thought
You're not wrong.
No, he's not wrong at all. And I don't know how I feel about that. Are you my former self?
Now, the sad thing is, am I going to grow up to be you?
Wouldn't that be the happy thing?
Because then I have to deal with my former self.
Yeah, and I hope to God I'm around to watch that.
I just want someone to be me.
Someone will be you.
I want to stay the way I am.
Like Peter Pan, like never grow up.
That's not what I meant, but that would be awesome.
I don't want to grow up. I don't want to grow up.
No, stop it.
I just want to be a kid.
We're gonna stop you right there.
So you're 13, if people don't know that about you.
Right.
Do you want to stay 13 for the rest of your life? If I could wave a magic wand, or do you have a certain age that was epic for you?
When I was 7, I don't know. When I was 7 years old, a lot of things happened. Like my parents' divorce, which is one thing. But I remember a lot of things happened when I was 7 years old.
Good or bad?
A lot of good, a lot of bad.
Do you remember what you said to your parents when we had a professional counselor there and told you the news that we were getting a divorce? Would you like to tell America?
I'll let you do it, because I'll laugh too hard.
You said, what other options did you two idiots consider before you jumped to this conclusion?
And then I started laughing maniacally.
And then the counselor gave my money back and said, you don't need me anymore. She has a big mouth.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he didn't refund me, but he never came back.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about counseling. I tried counseling for myself, and I think I told you that story. I fell asleep in my own sessions.
I tried counseling, and I'm like, this lady's nice and too nice, and I don't...
Can you not be distracted during the podcast?
I don't know how to explain counseling. It just doesn't work for me.
You just tried it, actually, not that long ago.
I didn't like it.
On Zoom.
I didn't like it.
What didn't you like about it?
It's too nice.
Yeah, I was bored with my own self.
Yeah.
I figured I can phone a friend.
Yeah.
I don't need to pay for someone to tell me I have problems.
Correct.
Yes. But, I mean, to all you counselors out there listening, I'm sure you have a lot to say about my relationship with my daughter.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so what age did you feel, were you trying to say that 7 was your greatest year? Or a year?
Yeah, when I was 7 years old, I had so many memories there.
Wasn't that 3rd grade?
It was 1st grade, Mom.
Oh.
I was 10 in 3rd grade.
You had an epically great 1st grade teacher. It was a good year for you. You were in a love triangle. There was a scandal on the playground. Men were literally chasing you. And I mean that in the physical sense.
And I met my best friend that year.
KCO?
Well, technically I met her in kindergarten, and I completely threw a ball on her face, and I think she doesn't remember. But I do. I think I may have, jogged her.
And you're going back to school to see your best friends next week. Are you so excited about that?
I'm very excited.
How are you feeling about getting out of this house, Lucy?
I am feeling amazing.
And what advice do you have to kids that are listening right now?
Get as far away from your parents as possible.
Really? That's what you want to say on the podcast?
I mean, love your parents with all your heart, but leave them on the side of the road when you leave for school. Run. Run inside, because they can't go into school without the permission of the teachers.
So why don't you just walk to school? I mean, it's 5 miles.
I had a dream about that last night. I actually walked to school with my friend.
I think you should walk to school.
I would love that. I've been begging you for years.
Yeah, I mean, through 405 traffic, through the freeway. Just suck it up.
Yeah, no, I've actually know how to navigate my way to
It's
school.
like Survivor. I think I should just let you go out the front door and see if you make it.
I couldn't.
But you have to take your sister with you.
I can't do that.
Okay, so I want to tell you a story. When I was in kindergarten, this is a very long time ago, I walked to school. Now, I know that's weird because 5-year-olds walking to school, but it was a literal mile, and I walked with my friend Colleen Murphy, and I don't know if I shared this story on the podcast.
You haven't.
One day, I came home from school. Now, remember, this is the late 80s. There's no cell phones. With a girl. So my mother said...
You came home with a girl. Oh, my gosh. That's so crazy.
I came home with a strange girl.
And
my
that's a
mother,
little harsh.
I said, this is Erica. I walked home with a strange girl whose mother did not know that Erica walked home to my house a mile. And my mother said, what's your name? And she said, Erica. And she said, where do you live? And she said, I don't know. And then she said, what's your last name? She's 5. Erica said, I don't know. I invited Erica for a play date and did not inform any adult. It was the 80s. We left the property, no security checks, no vaccine passport, okay? Walked a mile to my house, and now my mother is harboring a child that's not hers. Okay? And in the 80s, I don't know how Erica got home. I never saw Erica again, okay? Erica never came. It was just crazy.
That sounds like when I first met Maya, we were supposed to, just hang out for a little bit. You were talking to You were talking to Maya's mom.
Okay.
And for the very first time, well, not for the very first time, maybe
right.
the second or third time. And next thing I knew, that night we had a sleepover.
I was a very discerning mom, and I liked Maya, and I felt like it was...
Yeah, they're your best friends.
Yeah, they're great.
They're family.
I also had another kindergarten story from this kindergarten. So I remember I came home, and this was back in the day when you would have a birthday party. Remember when you were in kindergarten and you would hand out the paper invites? Well, you're 5. You're going to drop some invites, right? So there's a bunch of birthday parties. So I'm crying. I remember this. Crying in the car. Why? And I'm crying. And this little girl said on the way to the car, what's wrong? I didn't get invited to Susie Snapper. Her name was Susie Snapper.
That's an epic name.
Yeah, I didn't get invited to Susie Snapper's birthday party. So then this girl...
Okay, wait 1 second.
What?
It must have been rough for Snoozy
Snapper
in high school.
Yeah, it was bad.
In high school.
Yeah. So this girl goes, that's okay, you can come to my party. But she handed me a random invite to a random birthday party that wasn't hers. We were 5. So then I said to my mom, I'm going to go to, and it was a boy named Quan Paxton. Okay, Quan Paxton did not want me at his birthday party, but my mother drove me to his Tron-themed birthday party with all boys. Okay, so I show up in the Tron birthday party thinking I'm going to Susie Snapper's birthday party, and there's a Tron cake. And this is the 80s. My mom was out of there. She dropped me off. There's no phone. There's no call me if it doesn't work out. So for 2 hours, I was immersed in Star Wars and Tron and Star Trek.
That is my every
dream.
Fantasy right there.
And I ate the Tron cake, okay? It is...
Mom.
It is
if
formative.
I had that opportunity, you understand, me and those boys would be best friends.
So when you turn 14, I'm going to get you a Tron. Do you even know what Tron is?
Yes.
I'm going to get you a Tron cake. Yeah,
I would prefer a Star Wars cake, but a Tron cake works too. Star Trek, Star Wars, doesn't matter.
And now these flippin' helicopter moms, they got to stay at the party. They got to drink wine from the sippy cups. You can't have a kid's birthday party without inviting the aunts and the uncles and the 50 relatives. And you have to have a poo-poo platter for the adults. And the kids are just hopped up on cake. So, it's different now, and they're all watching you.
If we could just have parties where, there were just the kids,
just the kids?
Yeah, no, not just the kids and maybe, one adult, but at my birthday party this year, it was me, my friend Kezia, my friend Alexa, my friend Maya, and Ruby, and we got left alone at the house because Dad had to go do something, and I think Debbie was out somewhere.
What?
No, it wasn't because
he left you? I did not know that.
He had to go to the store. He had to go to the store to get something for the birthday party.
Well, and here's the thing, you had a COVID.
And I chased my friends with a shovel.
So
that's what every growing 13-year-old does.
You don't know
They chase their friends with shovels.
Alexa's mom was only going to let Alexa come if there was 4 people invited to your party, but there was another girl invited to your party. I'm not going to say her name, and she didn't RSVP, so I told Alexa's mom there was only going to be 4 girls. Well, an hour before the party, I think you know who that is, the mom was like, hey, is Ruby having a party? I'll drop my kid off. And I can't uninvite her. But now I'm like, do I lie to Alexa's mom and tell her there's an extra COVID kid and then somebody gets COVID and I'm horrible? So I blew off that mom. I was like, the party's just sort of not really a big deal. Like, you don't really want, it's going to suck. It's going to be a horrible birthday party. No, that's not really what happened.
You told me that she couldn't come.
No, she couldn't come. I'm just doing it for commitment. I don't know, Andrew. But, so yeah, birthday parties are different today than they were back then.
Well, we're in the middle of COVID.
And we were just talking about the most epic tragedy of birthday parties of all time.
We were?
Chuck E. Cheese is closed.
Ah, yes.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how to get over
it's
the
like
fact.
when Toys R Us closed.
I feel like my childhood is dying. My childhood is dead. How do you Dave and Buster does not even compare with old school Chuck E. Cheese with that greasy pizza
with the sticky slide where you you
Yes.
go in your shorts
Yes.
and then they get stuck to the slide.
Oh yeah,
and then like there's 3 kids in there and there's no
and
adult
the ball
supervision.
pit, the ball pit,
Yes, the ball
and
pit.
that greasy, oily ball
and the
pit.
animatronics.
I think COVID came from Chuck E. Cheese. I really do. I think it started in the ball pit. And remember skee ball? And you get those tickets, and those tickets are like crack, and you buy like a spider ring, and you just cut those kids in line to get your flippin' spider ring for 800 tickets. And then you're like, I want the clock radio. And they're like, that's 9,027 tickets. You're like, Mom, can we stay 3 more hours so I can win the clock radio? Remember when you were little? I mean, that was like Vegas for little kids.
It was.
And then Dave and Buster took it to a whole new level.
Dave and Buster's is literally like
Vegas.
It's Vegas. It's an indoor Vegas.
And Dave and Buster's has no skill. Those games, it's like roulette. You just push a button at Dave and Buster's, and then the tickets come out, and you stand there like you just accomplished something. It is the most.
It's like a slot machine.
It is like slot machines for kids.
It's literally Vegas.
There's no physical activity at Dave and Buster's. You can't.
I mean, actually, there is because there's like this dance games where you have to I can't remember what they're called, but like you remember how you have to step on certain places. And I believe
you know what they had at Chuck E. Cheese that I miss? Whack-a-mole. Do you remember Whack-a-mole?
They
where
have
you
that
hit
at Dave and Buster's.
Yeah.
They do.
Well, and now
And it's whack-a-mole. It's not whack-a-mole.
I thought it was like walkie-walk.
What? I think of whack-a-mole now, and I'm thinking that you said guacamole wrong.
I am sad for children that are gonna be raised in a world without Chuck E. Cheese. Like
I'm sure, you remember there was rumor that Toys R Us would be reopening
I
franchises?
heard they were reopening.
Yeah.
But now it's a stupid furniture store, and every time I drive by, I get sad.
Because it's because the outline of the Toys R Us sign is still there, but it's like in little letters. It has this furniture co.
It's like a sad fire happened. It's like that Disneyland. Remember that Saturday Night Live commercial where Stuart Smalley goes, I drove my kids to an empty parking lot, and I said, welcome to Disneyland. Oh, darn, it burned down. Like, that's what I feel when I drive.
And I was going to take him to the real Disneyland, but it was getting kind of late, so I went home.
So, yeah, I think that we actually agree today that a world without Chuck E. Cheese is a sad.
I just remember, I didn't go to Chuck E. Cheese for just birthday parties like I had before, but Chuck E. Cheese, I went for, what's it called? School, we would have these fundraisers, and if you sold
and you know what
the catalogs, we would have not only won prizes, but we would go to Chuck E. Cheese.
And I love about Chuck E. Cheese is they didn't feel the need to clean it, ever. They didn't feel the need to sanitize. You could get malaria and COVID if it's a good day at Chuck E. Cheese. Do you know what I mean? And maybe an STD. I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to end the podcast.
How do you get an STD?
I don't know.
When it's literally called a sexually transmitted disease.
It's HPV. You could get HPV.
How do you get that?
I think...
Wait, explain to me.
You don't know what happened.
What? Some kid grabs you in the ball pit?
I don't want to
takes you under?
There's somebody out there that got HPV at Chuck E. Cheese. It happens. It was the 90s. There's a lot of drama. So on that wholesome note, I'm going to end the podcast. Please send us your questions. Please keep up with us. We're on Spotify and iTunes, and we love all your support. We have over 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, we're very excited about that.
Good.
Thanks to our producer, Andreas, today. And you can email us at thisisnotagoodidea@gmail.com.
You say it like that. You're like,
You say,
podcast.
this is not a good idea?
You say podcast.
Podcast.
It's not podcast, because then that's just over the bunch.
All right, Marky Mark. All right,
What?
so thank you and goodbye.
Okay, bye.